It's gripping at every turn. Because one of the most popular ultra-high performance tires ever to hit the street is ready to tear it up like never before. With a whole new level of traction, stability, and braking performance, whether wet or dry. Step up to the all-new Nitto 555 G2. Check it out at nittotire.com. It's what's next.
Blog Talk Radio.
Live from Fort Bragg's backyard, this is the show that put the 110 Nation on the map. There is only one nation, the 110 Nation, and you're listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show, covering each and every sport across the board. There is no sport too large or too little. It's time to talk the talk. Here we go. Here's the man, the founder, and your host, Mr. CJ Sports.
Want to welcome everybody to the 110 Nation Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. CJ Sports. You can follow me at 110 Nation. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Glad to be here on this Christmas Eve edition. Oh, for those that will not be tuning in tomorrow night, Merry Christmas. Hopefully most of you will be tuning in tomorrow as we continue on with our Best of series. Been having fun with that. Looking forward to seeing what other interviews we can pull up for the next week and a half. As we will be doing the best of editions from now all the way through January 1st to finish off next week, getting us ready for 2016. Make sure you guys check out our site, www.the110nation.com. Check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. For all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Don't forget, Mondays and Fridays, you can catch the 110 Nation Sports Show, 9 p.m. kickoff. You can also catch Racing with Big Sweat, 9 p.m. Thursday nights. The 110 Nation Morning Show, new time, starting back after the first of the year, 9 a.m. And then also we got the debut this Sunday of Midwest Sports Power Hour. It kicks off at 9 p.m., so make sure you guys check that out as well. Oh, good Lord. Got a good football game going on. Kind of back and forth. Derek Carr had a pass tip for an interception. San Diego ended up taking it down, scored to go up 7-0, but Oakland just went down the field, a 77-yard drive to get them a score to go 7-7. It is tied at 7. First is officially over. I'm looking forward to seeing what quarter two brings for this fun matchup tonight. Excuse me. Don't forget tomorrow we got some great NBA action going on. We got in the first game at noon, we got New Orleans facing Miami. Second game at 2:30, we got Chicago going to Oklahoma. Third game, the game I'll be watching, Cleveland traveling to Golden State at 5 p.m. Then, of course, I'll stay around for the San Antonio at Houston at 8 p.m. matchup. And then the Christmas Day finishes off with L.A. at L.A. Yes, the Clippers and Lakers, 10:30. Great NBA action on Christmas Day. Looking forward to be able to sit down and watch a bunch of games tomorrow. Around my 24-hour marathon of A Christmas Story, yes, I catch that every year. I've already watched one round of it. Round 2 is just getting underway for the next 12 hours. We got, 12 rounds? So definitely going to round work and around everything I got to do. We will definitely be having A Christmas Story going on loud, proud in here. Couple bowl games going on today. We have got San Diego State going against Cincinnati. They are in the second, about almost midway into the second. San Diego winning 14-0 in the first quarter, and that is still the score, 14-0 over Cincinnati in the Hawaii Bowl. And then the other game that we had go on today was Middle Tennessee State against Western Michigan in the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl. And Western Michigan was able to be victorious 45-31 as Western Michigan scored 21 points in the fourth to take a game that was relatively close. I mean, going into the fourth, it was 24-24, and then the ultimate results was 45-31, like I said, with Western Michigan being victorious. Over 1,000 yards, total yards, 442 for Middle Tennessee, 613 for Western Michigan. Just a really good performance for Middle Tennessee. Brent Stockstill, quarterback, 26-39, 327 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. And for Western Michigan, Zach Terrell, 18-26, 297, 2 touchdowns and interception. And it looks like Oklahoma's going to be putting the ball out of their end zone with a 4th and 15, not looking that good. Receiving yard, Western Michigan's rushing yards. Jamari Bogan rushed for 250 yards, 4 touchdowns. Just put on a one hell of a display. Receiving, Richie James of Middle Tennessee, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Corey Davis of Western Michigan, 183 yards. And Daniel Braverman, 101 yards for Western Michigan as well. As we got a bunch of games coming up day after Christmas, and we start seeing more games. Connecticut and Marshall, Miami and Florida against Washington State, Washington versus Southern Miss, Indiana versus Duke, Tulsa, Virginia Tech, also UCLA, Nebraska. A lot of games slated for Saturday, so I definitely looking forward to that. Glad to have everybody that is tuned in tonight. Christmas Eve, I know that a lot of people out there are packing stuff, they're wrapping stuff, and just getting things ready for tonight. We got a nice little arrangement of gifts out here underneath the tree, and we got a whole bedroom full of gifts. I did my fair share. I knocked out a good amount of the wrapping this afternoon. I think Shorty's going to be rather pleased by the lack of Shorty wrapping that she is going to have to do in here a little bit, but what we thought was going to be a really crappy and very minimal Christmas underneath this tree in this house has turned into quite the exact opposite. I think we was looking for maybe most, I think $100 for each of the kids, which turned out to double, almost triple that, with just a lot of hard work and a lot of help from a lot of people. Definitely got to thank our blessings. And, when we went from expecting to spend about $400 to about $1,000, when it was all said and done, with, like I said, a lot of help from a lot of people, and hours and bosses making sure that we got to work what we need to work to make it happen. Like I said, I got to be very thankful for the family, the friends, and everybody that was able to help out and make this Christmas a good Christmas. As for the most of y'all know, we're in the process of moving, so we got 4 kids Christmases to take care of. We got bills at one house to take care of, deposits going on at another house we got to take care of. There's a lot of craziness going on here, and so glad to know we got it all knocked out. Looking forward to getting this move done and getting the new 110 Nation studio set up, and with everything going on at the 110 Nation, I'm just glad to be looking. I'm just thankful for 2016 to be right around the corner. Like I said, we got the best sub edition. What we want to do is wrap up the year. We decided the last 2 weeks that we would just reminisce with some of the great interviews we've had. And obviously tonight's going to be no different. We have Noah Gragson interview. We had K&N Pro Series driver. We had him on the show. We had Mason Mitchell from Mason Mitchell Motorsports. time we had him on, it was right before the week before he won the championship. The next time we had him on, or one of the other times we had him on, he went on to win Iowa, which was a big deal for him, and just a lot of great things going on over at Mason Mitchell Motorsports. We've had him on. We've had Austin Wayne Self on as well, as one of the drivers over there at Mason Mitchell Motorsports. And then to wrap up tonight, we got Josh Williams, another driver from the ARCA Series, a very inspirational story as doing it alone. He doesn't have the high-profile names and everything else, just working hard and trying to make a dream come true and to be a professional race car driver. Did very well. As a matter of fact, I think we had all the top 10, but I want to say he was somewhere around 5th to 8th in the points, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even better. I can't remember at this point. But if you're not caught these interviews, you get an opportunity to catch them now. If you listened to them before and you forgot about them, like most of the interviews I have, exactly what we talked about the whole time, you get an opportunity to kind of walk down memory lane like I will be doing here tonight. Or if you have been listening to the network but haven't missed those particular interviews and have the opportunity to catch up and hear them. Don't forget you can catch us on Blog Talk Radio, you can catch us on Spreaker, you can catch us on Stitcher, you can catch us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and now also thanks to the guys over there at I-95, you can catch us on the I-95 Sports Network. You check them out over at i95sportsnetwork.com. You can like them on Facebook, I-95 Sports and Entertainment. Make sure you guys do that. We are on Tuesday through Saturday. They play our night show the next day for us. Over there, they syndicate it, rebroadcast it for us. You can catch it from 10 a.m. to noon if you happen to miss it, and you can't remember on just I-95. Make sure you guys check that out as well. Well, without any further delay, is we got 3 great interviews, which is going to wrap up pretty much most of the show. I still got some wrapping to do, still got some Christmas stuff to take care of. So I wanted to make this an easy night, not only for myself, but just an easy night, period, and a bunch of great interviews. So without any further delay, and before we jump into this, San Diego just scored a touchdown. They are going up 14-7, sending the extra point with about 11 minutes left in the second quarter. So great game. It looks like it's going to continue to go back and forth on this Christmas Eve night. But without any further delay, let's get into these interviews and let's get into some of these best of 2015 that we're going to experience today here on the 110 Nation Sports Show. Got Noah Gragson joining us tonight, K&N Pro Series driver. A very impressive resume from what I've seen, so I'm loving the opportunity to do this. I tell you what, like I said, it don't get no better this week. I know there's a lot of ups and downs in the 4.5 years, but the Chip Ganassi Sound Grags last night, getting an opportunity to talk to a young, talented driver, and then bounce back on Saturday and get to go out to the Bank of America 500 and do media out there. This is one of those weeks that's all the struggles for the last 4.5 years just kind of go out the window, at least for this week, and we'll see what hills we got to climb next week. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get Noah on the show. He didn't tune in tonight just to listen to me talk. He called in to be able to let us have a chance to meet him and get to know him. Noah, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks, guys, for having me on.
Oh, the honor and the privilege is all ours. We love to get the opportunity to meet the future in the racing world. Before we jump into this, I'd like to give our guests the opportunity to plug their social media, maybe websites, sponsor, anything you want to throw out there. That way the fans get to know you, be able to keep up with your season and your career. So go ahead and plug that in there.
Yeah, I love connecting with the fans, so any fans that are listening right now, check me out on Instagram and Twitter. I mostly go on there. I go on Facebook a little bit, but my Instagram and Twitter is follow me at Noah Gragson, and then my Facebook is at Noah Gragson Racing. So check me out on all those and to follow me for more racing updates and what I'm kind of doing in my life and stay up to date.
Very impressive resume from what I've seen for the 2015 season here in the K&N Pro Series. But before we get into this season and how your career is going now, let's get to know the young Noah first. At what age did you get into racing?
Yeah, well, I'm 17 right now, so I started in 2012 when I was 13 years old. They kind of consider me as a late bloomer. I guess I was say compared to some of these kids, some of these kids starting when they're 4, 5, 6 years old in go-karts. So I started in Bandoleros at the local racetrack here in Las Vegas called the Bull Ring, out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And I did that in 2012, worked my way up to the Legend Car ranks in 2013, 2014, and then at the end of last year in 2014, I made a couple of late model starts for Dusty Nash Motorsports. And this year we got the opportunity to make our K&N debut and run with such a great team, Jefferson Pitts Racing. We go to the racetrack all the time and just bring phenomenal cars. So I can't thank everyone who's helped me over the past couple of years.
And like you mentioned, you're actually considered a late bloomer, even though you got into it at the age you did. Why such, and I know this is a really weird question, especially since you technically got into this sport at a young age, but compared to, we hear the drivers at 5, 6 years old getting into go-karts, why such a late start? Was there just never an opportunity? Was it just never a thought in your guys' mind that you wanted to race cars? Or, I mean, what made it kind of be make you to be a late bloomer?
Yeah, I never really had the opportunity growing up. Never really got the chance to go run go-karts or any of those things. No one in my family has ever raced, so just not having the opportunity, I went to the local indoor go-kart track and did that for about a year. And then my dad's business partner, they had a couple Bandoleros, and they said, well, why don't you come out and try it? Because I always like riding my bike and skateboarding and doing anything action sports-wise. So I was just so fortunate to get the opportunity to run the Bandolero, and then ever since that day, I tested, and first time on the track, I loved it. It's just a lifestyle from now on.
So, I mean, how did it come about? Did he happen to see with the go-kart tracks? How did he present you with the opportunity to be out there in the car, in the Bandoleros?
Yeah, it's my dad's business partner. His name's Frank Moretti. He had two kids raced. They're about 8 or 9 years old when they started, so we just went out there, tried it out, and it just stuck. So just very thankful that it's happened, because it's changed our life ever since, and I couldn't expect it any other way to be living right now. I love every single second of it.
I can only imagine. At what point in this, you said 12, 13, correct, when you started?
Right, correct.
At what point in this last 5 years did you guys know, or you more specifically, did you know that this is what I want to do? This, not only is this what I want to do, I know that I can make a living, I can make a career, I can be somebody that everybody is going to cheer for. At what point in your 5 years, roughly, career, did it sink in that this is it?
I still don't know if we're for sure we want to make this career. I mean, I love it. I'm 100% committed to it, but obviously funding-wise and opportunities, everything, all the puzzle pieces have to fit. And you never know. You could be the best driver out there and never get the break. So I think right now it's just try your best every time you go on the racetrack, meet new people, shake new hands, and try and make the best of the situation. You never know when you're going to be on the racetrack again. So once again, I'm just very thankful to be racing right now, and hopefully I can continue.
How difficult has it been for you balancing school and this career?
School's, I'd say it was pretty difficult last year. I was going to normal school 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, so I would have to miss a lot of school, racing legend cars nationally, and now that I'm running a K&N Series and going back east for weeks at a time, it makes it pretty difficult. So I started homeschooling this year, and it's really cut down the hours, I'd say, and I can kind of work around my schedule and put in more hours one week, and then miss another week, so kind of get ahead, you know. So the homeschooling has really benefited me.
Out of all the cars different kind of cars you've been in, which one has come the easiest or been the most natural to you? And then on the same note, which one has been like the most difficult for you to really grasp a handle on?
I'd say racing and race cars they're kind of like an ex-girlfriend. They're all the same, but in a different way, you know. So I like being in any kind of race car. You know, it feels pretty natural to me, to be honest. So I wouldn't say that one has been easier, one has been harder. You know, they all have their similarities and differences.
Have you ever used that saying in front of a female before?
Actually, I'm at my crew chief, Dustin Ash's house. He crew chiefs my late mother's stuff, and his wife is standing here right now, and they just started asking us. So I guess it's the first time.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I would say that's a safe analogy to use in front of everybody, in front of a female, but I definitely enjoyed it, and obviously they enjoyed it as well. Where was I going at? I was saying, God, you just throw me off. Oh, I see you've done some West and, mainly West. I've seen 11 races on here. I don't know if this has been updated all the way. And a couple races on the East Series. Now, thanks to NBC Sports, I've got an opportunity to see more of the K&N Pro Series races and get an opportunity to learn a little bit more, but I'm going to admit I'm not the most knowledgeable. I learned what I learned from what coverage that NBC's got and a lot of the drivers that we've got an opportunity to have on the show. Competition-wise, how different is the competition from the West Series to the East Series? And I know some of them run both series, so you see some of the familiar faces, but how different, or is there any difference in the competition level or just the style or anything in the two difference from the West to the East?
Yeah, I think the West and the East Coast, they contribute a lot together, and they're very similar, but I feel like running on the West Coast, there's 10 drivers that could show up each weekend and win, you know, so it definitely makes it a very competitive field, and I feel like the East is very competitive too. Also, I'm not saying one is more competitive than the other, but I feel like at least 10 cars can show up a weekend and win on the West Coast, and I don't think it's been like that in previous years. I feel like this is the breaking out year that they've had, and there's a lot more drivers coming into the sport, and it definitely helps having NBC Sports televising all the events to give fans another look into the races, which they normally don't get to see at all, maybe once or twice a year. So just a very good opportunity for us young drivers.
How I know that there's a lot of drivers in both series. How competitive is this sport? Period. You know, I've used this term, this analogy, and I'm gonna stick with this word. When I've talked to a couple other drivers, and I don't know if you guys sit there and think about it. You guys probably do because you guys are in the sport. And I don't know if a lot of the listeners or the fans think about this until unless they caught my show before. But you have hundreds of thousands of drivers, and no matter if they're 6 or 10, 12 years old. I think I've seen a 12-year-old winner at one of the local tracks, the dirt tracks, or whatever. All the way up to, I'm sure there's guys 50, 60 years old out there just loving it, slinging dirt, or being on the asphalt track on Friday and Saturday nights. But then the series gets smaller, and you got the K&N Pro Series and the ARCA Series and the Truck Series and so forth and so forth. And you guys are all ultimately running for an opportunity to get one of those 43 spots in the Sprint Cup Series. And let's be realistic about it. On top of that, you got about good 20 to 25 of those, and they ain't going nowhere. Your Jimmy Johnsons and your Dale Juniors and your Jeff Warrens, except for retirement, aren't going anywhere. So realistically, you have hundreds and thousands of people or drivers, athletes at the very bottom level, really shooting for about 20 spots. I mean, this is not the NFL where you got 53-man rosters and 32 teams. You're shooting for about 20 spots, and that's it. Do you ever sit there and think about how competitive this sport really is, and how behind the scenes, how competitive is it between you guys? Is there a lot of tension at times, or is it kind of everybody gets along kind of scenario, a big sorority kind of ordeal, and it's kind of like team racing. Once you're out on the track, it is what it is, but once it's off, you guys are off the track, you guys are all, one big brother of it.
Yeah, I think you got to be close with your competitors in a faction, and you can't get too close though, because sometimes you'll be hanging out with them on a Friday night before the race, and then Saturday night you're racing against them on track, and you might need to use them up or something to get around them, and you just can't take it. I guess you can't take it to heart. At the end of the day, we're all friends, and to really make it to the top is realistically it's very, very hard. There's thousands of people out there trying day in and day out. So I think the best thing right now is to just try my best on being different, but not being too different. I'd like to stand out a little bit and be different and kind of get the fans something to root for and whatnot, but not be too different where they don't like me. So I think at the end of the day, it's you just got to try your best and be yourself, and hopefully the right opportunity will come. You'll meet the right people, and hopefully you'll make it.
Now, correct me if this is not updated, but this is the only thing I can pull up when it comes to your stats and this season. But the stats I'm looking at, they got you first in the points, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, 10 top 10s. For the 2015 season. Does that sound about correct? Is that up to date?
Yeah, that's correct.
How's it feel being on top of the points in this series? A very competitive series, obviously. One more step towards the ultimate goal, and here you are with a couple wins underneath your belts, and you're sitting on top of the points.
Yeah, coming into this year, we didn't know what our expectations were. I kind of set goals for myself personally on what we wanted to do. I would have liked to, at the beginning of the season, before it even started, on swimming to stock cars and not really having much experience. So realistically, I wanted to get a top 10 in points, and just ultimately this year is about learning and just making the most out of it, So realistically, top 10 in points, but we got 2 wins so far and have had some decent amount of success. So definitely nothing to hang our heads on at all. Can't take it for granted, though. We just need to keep our heads up and keep working harder. And hopefully we can pick up a couple more wins before the end of the season. But I've been pretty happy with the results so far, and it definitely helps having the guys from JPR bring you fast race cars to the racetrack every time. All the guys work so hard. My crew chief, Gary Bitch, me and him work really well together. So communication is key in this sport, and I feel like if you're good communicating with your crew chief and all your guys, I kind of treat it as a family at Jefferson Pitts Racing. We're all there for each other. My teammate Grayson Rath, we work together and talk and go over what we're doing on the racetrack, debrief a little bit after practice sessions. So I think that's key, and just learning the most you can every time out on the racetrack will definitely benefit you in the long run.
I like that. You're really modest with it. Like, we're going into the season with a top 10. We got nothing. We can hang our heads high and everything else. You got 2 wins and you're first in the points. You don't get no better than that, and especially with the expectations going into the season. Excuse me. I'm not going to say that it's been easy. Don't get me wrong. This is a very competitive series, and everybody is, trying their hardest to get to that next level. But with the expectations, the goal set is trying to be in the top 10 in points, and here you are with 2 wins, 10 out of 11 races in the top 10. Has it came maybe a little bit easier than you thought it was going to be? Not that it's saying it was easy, but did it come easier than you thought it was going to?
Yeah, I think I've adapted to the race car a little bit more and more each time I'm in it, and I just got more comfortable. I didn't think I'd be as comfortable running on these fast tracks at 160 miles an hour before I've been there, but now after looking back at it, it's not too bad, and I love the speed a lot. And, I really focus on the team. You know, we're one big family, and I don't focus on, hey, I won a race. I focus on we won a race, the team won a race, because it's definitely not an individual effort. Everybody puts in their hard work, and it definitely helps having everybody on the same page. So they just can't thank everyone for justice if it's racing enough. They work hard every single time we go to the racetrack, on and off the racetrack.
What kind of track do you prefer? The short tracks, the big tracks, road course. What if you had your choice next weekend at any track to be at? What type of track would it be?
If I could go to any track next weekend, I'd probably go to Tucson Speedway, just because you can run 3 and 4 wide the whole entire race. It's a whole wore-out racetrack, so you gotta save your tires and be conservative, but you also have to go and be up at the front so you don't get into trouble. So I love that place. The fans are great. I love racing at my local track, the Bull Ring. The people are awesome there. But I just like racing any racetrack I can, being in any car I can. It's a true passion of mine, and I love it.
Now, two-part question here. And during the regular season, or while you're in the season, what do you do in your free time that you don't got much time off, but you want to get away for a minute, and then also in your off time, in the off season, what do you do in the off season to kind of recharge your batteries, just kind of step away from everything, get an opportunity to be you by yourself, or you with maybe a close friend or family, and kind of just be you, not the Noah everybody sees on the track, or the Noah that's got to be concentrated on his career or the season or the car, but Noah, the kid that was out there skipping rocks once upon a time, or whatever you like to do, ride bikes and skateboard, that Noah.
Yeah, I think if any of the fans or anyone sees me at the racetrack, I'm always having a good time. I feel like there's not really a big difference between me at home and me at the racetrack. I'm a kid at heart, and I feel the best time and the best way to be focused is just being yourself and having a good time. There's no better way to be focused than being yourself. And I always like having a good time, messing around a little bit with the guys, joking around. So like today, I was helping my buddy Adam work on his go-kart, and I love anything to do with racing and whatnot. I always love doing anything, action sports, all that kind of stuff, messing around. So I don't think there's a big difference between me at the track and me being my normal self,
And how hard is it to have a normal teenage social life, girlfriend life? Has it been difficult for you? Do you have a lot of time for it, or how do you handle that part of that?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I feel like racing is the number one thing for me personally. I like racing the most, even if it's over a girl. So I'm gonna put everything into racing before anything else. Do whatever I can, but it makes it tough sometimes. I don't really do most kid things. I don't really party or anything, so I guess you'd say live a boring life. But I'd rather go work on a go-kart or help my friends go ride bikes or something than go party and do normal high school kid things. So I'd rather be at the racetrack than be doing normal kid things, I guess you'd say.
And I respect that, and I feel a lot of the young drivers we have on the show that I didn't know what I wanted to do until 4.5 years ago when I started doing this. I'd been general manager at 100 gazillion places. I spent 4 years in the military. I have done weightlifting competitions. I've bounced, but it wasn't until April 15, 2011, when I got to do this, that I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I applaud you young adults that know what you want to do, and you guys are doing everything you can to make it happen. I think even if I'd have known back then what I wanted to do, I probably wouldn't. I'm a procrastinator, so I probably would have
not done whatever I wanted to do anyway. So, but I do applaud you guys for that, because not everybody knows what they want to do, and there's people older than me that still don't know what they really want to do. How many more races you guys got for this season?
We have 2 more this season for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. Roseville, that's in 2 weeks up in Northern California, and then we go to Phoenix at the beginning of November. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not really sure on what to expect for those 2 tracks. I've never been to either one. I know Roseville's a small little third mile, and Phoenix is a mile. So one's real small and one's real big. That's the only thing I know. So just need to adapt real quick. And the guys from Jefferson Pits Racing, they unload with good race cars. So hopefully it'll be easy to adapt. And I know my crew chief has good notes for Roseville, so we'll see what goes on.
Now, is there any plans for the 2016 season yet?
We don't really have anything set in stone. We'd like to be running another year in K&N for Jefferson Pits Racing on the West Coast, and hopefully be making a couple more starts. And I just made my first career ARCA start at Kentucky last weekend for Mason Mitchell Motorsports, so that was a pretty cool deal. Great team, everyone there. We connected really well, so I really like that team, and hopefully we can make some more starts with them in the future on some of the bigger tracks like Pocono, Kansas, Chicagoland. It just makes it hard for 2016, not being 18 years old. I'm 17 right now, so I'll turn 18 July 15th of 2016, so I can't run full time in the truck stuff or any of that stuff. So it makes it kind of difficult, but 2017, hopefully we'll have something set up also.
How eager are you to turn 18 and be able to prove and show everybody your talents on a full-time basis?
Yeah, I'd like to turn 18 and be able to run full-time trucks or something, but I think ultimately right now I'm focusing on just finishing races and learning the most I can right now, so hopefully it'll pay off in the future. You know, I'm very new and almost inexperienced compared to some of these other people who have been racing for 10 years. So just trying to learn the most I can right now, and I don't know if we're necessarily ready to go up to the next level, you know?
Yeah. Now, I saw that you had that one Xfinity Series race. How much different was the competition level, in your opinion, from the K&N Pro to the ARCA Series, and how much difference, speed-wise or horsepower did you feel in going from the K&N Pro car to the ARCA Series car?
I didn't really feel that much of a difference, to be honest. Obviously, I was at different tracks, and I think we're going up to 189, 190 miles an hour top speed. So Kentucky, I should say, it's such a large-scale track. It's a mile-and-a-half track. The biggest track I've been on before that was Iowa, which is a 7/8 mile. So it's just such a bigger scale. You're in the corners for so long that it doesn't feel like you're going as fast compared to the smaller tracks where you get into the corners real quick. You're in the corner for so long, so it feels like you're going slower. So I didn't really notice that big of a difference, to be honest.
That's cool. What kind of rush is it like to be at 189 miles? I think the most I ever got my car up is to 100. Is it a rush to you? Is it just an everyday in the office scenario for you? What's it like for a race car driver getting to those kind of speeds?
I think for me personally is once I get the race car strap the belt tie, I know you hear this all the time, but it honestly feels very natural to me, and I feel like I'm in the zone. I guess my adrenaline's pumping. I'm in the zone, and I'm just 100% focused. You could wave your hand in front of my face, and I'd be dead focused on what's in front of me on the racetrack. So it just feels very natural to me.
Now, growing up, and this answer may change, and mine did, and I'll explain it a little bit, but growing up, who was your all-time driver that you idolized, wanted to be like, and if it's changed, who is it now? Like, growing up, I was a big Bill Elliott fan, but now I'm a Danica Kyle Busch fan. You know, some of the drivers that retired, especially for me because I'm older. And your answer may be the same, but growing up, who did you idolize? Who did you want to be like? Who was your driver? And then if it's changed, who is it now?
You know, I I didn't really watch NASCAR as a kid until when I first started racing. I actually sat down and watched it and really started to understand what it is. I thought I honestly had that normal person expectation of, oh, they're just going in circles and that was just going to be hard at all. But once I got into the Bandolero, I know it's nothing major or anything, but I started to realize, hey, this is really hard to get a hold of, and you have to be really good to be able to make it in the sport. And the guys who are racing in the top levels, there's a lot more than just turning left. So I didn't really have a driver, to be honest. I always liked action sports, and my favorite action sports guy was Travis Pastrana. I always looked up to Travis Pastrana. I used to watch motocross. I liked James Stewart, Chad Reed, so guys like that. And then when Travis Pastrana went into NASCAR, I started following him a lot. So, but my favorite driver right now, I'd say, is Kyle Busch. I love watching him race. He puts on a good show all the time, and I feel like he's a true wheel man at heart.
Oh, yeah, he's most definitely the most talented driver. I honestly believe he can do more on 3 wheels than most can do on 4. I'm very impressed with what Kim and Kevin Harvick both. They both had what they knew what they had to do, and they both went out and accomplished what had to be done last weekend. And both those drivers, obviously, very talented out there. And I was going to ask who you have in the chase, but obviously we got that answer with who you pull for now. This was one other question, but I forget what I was going to ask, but I don't remember now. Noah, I want to thank you a lot. I can't believe how quick that time went by. I definitely enjoyed having you on the show. Dora will always be open. Would love to be able to talk to you maybe in the off season and get to talk to you how it feels to be the 2015 champion. And maybe later on when you guys get something set in stone in 2016, we'd love to be able to keep up with you and your career as well. Good luck on the last 2 races of the season. Good luck in your career as well. And I'm going to let you rest up and get ready for another day tomorrow. And you have a great night.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I enjoy talking to you guys on here, and allow the fans to listen. So thanks all the fans for listening. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Noah Gragson, and on Facebook at Noah Gragson Racing. So it's cool catching up with you. Hopefully we get to talk racing more in the future, and I just appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a great night.
That was Noah Gragson, K&N Pro Series driver. Had a great time with him. Enjoyed having him on the show, and like we do many people, that was just one of the many guests we got to have come in and join us for the 2015 season. Definitely excited about 2016. You guys have no idea all the great things that we have planned for the 110 Nation, what we have planned for the network, what we have planned for the site. Just a lot of great things going on here at the 110 Nation. So make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. You can follow myself at at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also, check out our fan page, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports. You got the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Also, check out our website, www.the110nation.com, or check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. Now, the next guest I have that we're going to play from the best of 2015 is Mason Mitchell. Noah talked about driving for him. We had him on before he won his first championship as owner/driver. This year, they became the youngest owner. He had the combination of the youngest owner and owner's driver with having Austin Wayne Self behind the wheel of their car this year. Multiple races, they loaded up and had 2 cars, and then to finish up the season, they had 3 cars in one race. A lot of great things going on over at Mason Mitchell Motorsports. Was glad to have him on, not only the first time before he won the championship, but also we had him back on again before he won the Iowa race, which was one of the very few races he actually ran, which this year's world was more of a focus on being a car owner versus being a car driver. So got him on the show again. Loved hearing it. Loved having the opportunity to talk to this young, talented driver/owner. and hoping you guys enjoy listening to this interview that we pulled back out of the archives for this best of 2015, 2 weeks leading up to 2016.
So making a return to the show, past champion. It seems that I'm not going to jinx this weekend, and well, I'm trying not to jinx it, and I'm not trying to say that the 110 is rubbing off for good luck, but he ends up winning this championship. I mean, granted, all you had to do was start the car to win the championship last year, but he was on the show right before he won the championship. Then he was on the show right before he went to Iowa. Hopefully this is the third time's a charm, and we can turn it, I guess, complete the trifecta. And this weekend he is victorious in Kansas, or at least one of the Triple M cars will be victorious. I think at this point, I think he would be happy with any of those options. Without any further delay, we got Mason in the studio. How are you doing tonight, Mason?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me back on. And, yeah, I think we have a really good chance of winning Friday night and making it happen. And I know we have a really fast Chevrolet Impala, along with two other fast race cars here at Mason Motorsports. So really looking forward to it and ready to rock and roll.
It's crazy because the first time we had you on the show, you were going for your first championship. It was a one-car organization. And then the next time we get you on the show, you're now the youngest team owner / driver with Austin Wayne Self and yourself, and now you're a two-car operation. And then here we go going into Kansas, and it's getting even bigger. How did this come about, and how exciting is this for you as a team owner to see your team grow and not just put a car out there to say you're pro, but put 3 competitive cars out there on the track?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an ultimate, goal of mine, and I'm super ecstatic about it. But I wanted to make the right approach at it and, walk before you run and stuff like that. So I wanted to make sure we made the right moves as an organization. Last year we were successful running one team, and I had goals of going into this season running multiple teams. So we've had success with Austin behind the 98 this year. We've had success behind the wheel of 78, and now we're hopefully going to have success running 3 teams this weekend at Kansas, and couldn't be more honored to have the most recent NASCAR K&N Pro Series winner John West-Towling making his debut with Mason Motorsports this weekend at Kansas.
What kind of relationship did you have with him? You guys had a prior relationship that he drove with you guys before, or was this just something, you guys just happened to, he just wanted to come back and run the ARCA car and you having to provide the opportunity?
Yeah, no, we never. This is our first time. I've known John for the past couple of years now. I just racing him in the ARCA Series race, almost all the races I took full time in the series, and then a year before that, and then a couple of the team members on our team had some good relationships with him, and we wanted to put something together for him, and he wanted to do it, and we all made it happen, and I think he's super ecstatic about it. Obviously, he knows we have fast race cars, and obviously we know that he can wheel a race car around Kansas Speedway really well. So I think we'll be pretty pleased with our performance Friday night.
Did you ever think that you would have not only a race team, but 3 cars in your stable on a track at the same time, and more so at such a young age?
Probably not. I mean, it's always like a goal, and something, you dream about. You set a lunch table or something like that, and just plotting out this plan on a sketch pad or something like that, and so I want to do it right there like that. But actually, making it a reality is actually really rewarding, and such a cool opportunity, and just take a lot of hard work from everybody here at Mason Motorsports, putting it all together, and they done an excellent job making it happen, and I'm super ecstatic for it, and being able to go really smooth, and it's just something hopefully we'll become to see in the future.
Do you ever pinch yourself to make sure this is not all one big dream?
Yeah, I do, and I think sometimes, just the adversity that we face and everything like that definitely keeps you in check, because there are some really, really good times in the sport and the business, but When with success comes adverse situations. I think that's what makes people really good leaders, really good champions, and awesome teams is that they know how to win, but when the backs against the wall, they can become stronger and a better team.
Is Kansas the final race in your guys' schedule, or is there one more after that?
Yeah, Kansas is the finale.
And I've seen a few other teams kind of change up, and it seems like Brandon Jones is going to be running too in the 25 car. It seems like this is going to be a very competitive weekend. What's the difference between your guys' three driving styles? Are you guys relatively similar? You guys different? You guys share notes? Is it close? You guys close enough in driving styles to share notes?
I mean, I think everybody has their little different uniqueness, which is good. But all our race cars are prepared by all the same people. So we're all unloading pretty close to each other. We all share notes. We all know what each other has. So it's not like one person gets something better than the other. They're all built by everybody at the shop, and they're all been successful race cars throughout the season this year. And it's just going to be about giving good feedback, working through the practice, and getting as close as you can for the race, because we are going to be following some track condition changes that we practice and qualify during the day and we race at night. So, but I feel like we have a really good baseline, and we'll unload pretty quick. It's just going to take some minor tweaking, and hopefully we'll be strong in the race.
Going into the season versus now, did you accomplish everything you wanted to accomplish this year, especially with kind of the unknown of what it was going to be like having one full-time and one part-time car? Did you guys accomplish everything you was hoping for this season?
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I think most people would probably say yes, but I'm going to say yes and no. I mean, we've had 2 wins so far. Hopefully we can pick up a third, which is more wins than we had last year. But I really wish we could have, backed up our championship again. But that's part of racing, and there's all the circumstances you're going to face, adversity that you're going to have to battle back. And hopefully we can do that. We can, win the championship next year. But so it's been as a whole, I think it's been a successful year and a good year. But I'm super competitive and want probably more than what I should need at the time. But I want to win championships. I want to win every award that's possible, win as many races as you can. So we're going to keep on fighting strong in this last race and hope to go out with a bang, and hopefully we could even swoop the top 3. But that's going to be hard to do, but it's possible. And we go in the off season and build some strong race cars for next year and do it all again.
How big of a help was it having Zaxby's come on board?
It's awesome. I mean, John West has a great relationship with Zaxby's, obviously. I had some food at Zaxby's the other night, and then chicken salad sandwich was good.
Speaking like a true race car driver, I tell you what, Michael Waltrip, he is about the best when it comes to it. He can be sitting there with just talking in conversation and throwing out about 5 to 10 sponsors. And unless you're really paying attention, you have no idea that he just unloaded every sponsor that he has, because you're just wrapped up in the conversation. I did this once when I was working. When I worked at one of my prior places, we didn't have broccoli. I worked in a New York style pizza place. So we knew code word broccoli meant that there was a beautiful woman somewhere. You need to look. And I was talking to this very elderly woman. She must have been like 70 years old, and I was talking, broccoli, talking, just like that. Threw the word broccoli in. She had no idea I threw that word in, and every single guy in the store was looking out the front window to see what I was talking about. That's kind of every time I see Michael Waltrip, that's what I visualize as that event that I experienced. And did you hear you just throw that in there real quick? It just reminds me of Michael Waltrip. He's like the king of that. I got a question. I was sitting there thinking about having a third team. It's easy to throw a car together because you got cars in the shop. How difficult was it to add a crew and have a crew ready that is up to par to that's not work, unless you guys phone him from his truck team. Where did his crew come from? Is it coming from the truck team, or do you guys have to assemble a team together?
Actually, it's not. We put some people together, and that part was actually one of the easier parts, to be honest. At first, I didn't figure it would be, but we have some good relationships with people who are at the industry, and made it happen. And we got a really, really good group of guys doing it, led by Marty Lindley. He's criticizing it, which he said, full-time tandem car at Scott Motorsports. Some of the guys from there are helping out doing it. And then we have a good relationship with Tyler Young Motorsports, owned by Tyler Young. And his truck hauler and all his truck team equipment, his hauler truck and stuff like that. We're able to utilize that this weekend. So we're not short anything. We're nice stuff out there, really top of the line, quality people to doing the gig, and really looking forward to it.
You make it seem so simple, but it just seems just trying to get the right pieces together on a crew and your driver on all that on the same page at the same time. Just seems that you're asking for a lot of chemistry to work all of a sudden at one time. It just seems to be more difficult than just yes, we got top quality people and top quality products, but the chemistry I would think would be difficult to master in a little bit of time.
It can be. The whole essence of the madness is just proper planning. You got to work with everybody. Everybody has the right communication and be open and plan it all out. And it's not too difficult. Make it all happen. And then with John having some relationships with people. Mike Ricci's category winning Daytona a couple years ago in the ARCA race. That makes things a lot easier and better. Obviously, John's confidence is through the roof right now with winning that truck win at Vegas, and I think everything is going to be really well.
What and if any plans are for 2016? Is there any possibilities of 3 cars out there at any point next season at this point, or is this kind of a one-time experimental deal? And then also with the 2 cars, is the second car going to have more of a schedule next year, or is it still just going to be a part-time with one full-time car?
Yeah, I would really like to have plans to have just 2 full-time teams and that third one in there when it can. And it's just want to do it the right way and slowly but surely make it all happen and do the right thing and make sure we have the right talent behind our wheels. So that's what these next couple months are crucial about getting our stuff finalized and everything's looking pretty good. So we're just going to work hard at it and continue on.
So do you miss being in the car on a full-time basis?
No, absolutely. I mean, be lying to you if I didn't. And that's another reason I'm working hard on some stuff next year. And I know everything, as long as it goes to plan and it keeps moving forward like we have been, I definitely feel confident I'll be back behind the saddle more than 5 races like I was this year, or I guess it'll be 6, I think, after Kansas. Not just in this series, but with maybe some K&N stuff with truck stuff.
I know that my jaw's going to hit the ground when you answer this question because I know it's young, but I can't remember how young. How young are you?
I just turned 21 this past summer.
That's what I thought, right around 21. It just amazes me because where your team is at, and even just the point that we've gotten you on the show up to now has grown so much, and how well you've managed to conduct all this. And what's the day-to-day life like now that you have even more on your plate? Do you get much personal time at all?
I do a little bit. I live at the shop still, so it's been my fun. I think 2 years just living there, and it's all been good. And I consider this my personal life, so it can get crazy at times, but make it all work and try to get out here and there just to get your mind off some things. But this is what I want to do, and try to stay focused at it and keep having success and moving through the ladder.
Is there really an off season for you at all? I know the drivers get a little bit of time, but they're also not involved with logistics and acquiring sponsorships and everything else that you got to do. Do you actually get any kind of off season? Is there any plans to maybe take a week, 2 weeks off at any point, or is right now you're looking at you're going to be on the grind every day up until Daytona?
Yeah, I mean, really, the only thing you're really not doing is traveling to events or anything. Everything else is basically the same. You might be able to take advantage of some weekends off and stuff like that, and a 3-day weekend. Obviously, you get the holidays, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So always, want to make sure your guys get taken care of there, see their family. But other than that, it's usual business.
How comfortable are you with Kansas? Speaking of this race coming up.
I mean, I'm real comfortable. I like the track. We've always ran really well there. I felt like been fast, had a lot of speed before, and hopefully, we can capitalize on it. It's kind of like a home track because it's only 3 hours down the road from where I'm from, originally in West Des Moines, Iowa. So I got a lot of friends, family coming out. Of course, Carl Chevrolet supporting us this weekend, which it's close to their hub in Des Moines, Rankin, Iowa. So I'm confident. I think we can make it happen.
With your full-time driver, Austin Wayne, how do you feel this season went for him, and what's your assessment of him this year?
I think he should be really proud of what he accomplished this year. He picked up his first career win. He's battling for a spot in second in the points. One of the top 5, top 10, his laps left. So he's done a really good job for himself this year, and hopefully he can take that momentum and keep moving forward through his career.
That's definitely cool. That's got to be something that's a little bit different, especially for the drivers out there, for, someone like you that's not only going to manage your car and your game plan, but also try to, be an influential piece or help out a fellow competitor, but, you're also your other driver. So, I can imagine how mentally exhausting as well as physically exhausting you got to be by the time Monday rolls around, and then it all starts over again.
Yeah, I kind of hate Mondays, to be honest. You got, obviously you're coming back from the race weekend. There's so much work to do in the shop to get regrouped and handling all of the paperwork and footwork in your office, getting all settled up for the past weekend. So it can be an hassle, but you got to do it and make it happen. It all works.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't imagine no, nothing at all. At 21, I was just glad to be able to finally legally drink somewhere. I wasn't, it makes me sound like I was just a party guy. I was in the military and worked 40-plus hours in another job. Our going out drinking was we got in somewhere at 11, 12 o'clock where we knew the special was, and we was there for a couple hours, and that was the extent of the night. It wasn't necessarily partying, but, that's what my mentality was. I was military, and I was, delivery guy at the time. So I couldn't imagine being responsible for as much as you are responsible. You ever sit there and think about that, as much as you're responsible for people's livelihood and making sure that, there's going to be food on the table, we're looking for a paycheck and, everything that is involved with you being a team owner. Do you ever sit there and just sit back and think, and does that add any pressure to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's a lot of it because, there's a lot of people that they work hard to earn their money and support their families, and then just the responsibilities that you have making everything happen because, my name's on everything, and if something bad comes back, it's not going back on anyone but me. So, I don't let that scare me at all because that just hurt your performance and hurt everything in the program. But there's definitely some responsibilities and a lot of liability.
I just can imagine. I didn't have my son until I was in my late 20s, because in my early 20s, I wasn't even ready to be responsible for another a kid. And I didn't get into a serious relationship until I was in my late 20s, because I wasn't ready to be responsible for anybody else. I definitely applaud you because at 21 I couldn't imagine being responsible for as much as you are responsible for. That's insane to me. I gotta know your opinion as a driver going into Dover. We had two drivers sitting outside the chase, Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, and what they had to do to accomplish getting into the next round, they did. In other words, Kevin Harvick had to win. Kyle Busch had to get second. How impressive is that to be a driver such as yourself, watching where you want to be and drivers you look up to, watch them accomplish exactly what had to be done?
It is impressive, but I think we expect that from those caliber drivers and teams. They've proven that they can win almost any week, if everything goes correctly. And so it wasn't really a shock to me as much as I think it was to some people, because I expected those guys to run something all weekend. But it definitely is what they needed to do to make it happen.
Yeah, it's to be expected, I agree, but it wasn't easy for one of them to get in. My whole thing that impressed me, I would love to know what the odds were in Vegas. The odds are for both of them exactly what they needed. Yes, that's me. That's the part that gets me. Not that Kevin Harvick, when we know that Kevin Harvick any given week can show up and dominate a race. And we watched Joe Gibbs Racing for the last 3 months and dominate the Sprint Cup Series. But for both of them to play out exactly what had to happen, and even really for Junior, because he had to get that third in front of Casey Kane in order for him to get in as well. And to me, that's just crazy that those two, and just how it was a perfect day for both of them and what they needed to accomplish in order for both of them to advance. Because honestly, I think both of them still need to be in the chase in order for this chase to be as interesting as we want it to be. You eliminate two of the hotheads out of it, you kind of lost a lot of the possible friction. And then, of course, now after watching this week, and now we might lose Matt Kenseth, and it seems like one other driver that might possibly be an impact. You start losing all the possible conflicts on the track. So, I don't know, it was just crazy. How impressed have you been with the chase this year so far?
It's been exciting. I think this new format that they introduced last year has been what everybody wanted from fans, and I think it makes it tough for teams because there's so much pressure, but that's what we live in the moment for, to be questioning the times and make it happen, and definitely add some excitement. And to go in the final race with everybody zeroed out, once you got four drivers and teams that can win the championships, so it's really cool.
My opinion as a driver, Kansas next week, and then Talladega. Talladega is the wild card race that it's kind of out of your control. Will Kansas, in your opinion as a driver, will Kansas be a very crazy, hectic race because those drivers are trying to either get that win so they do not have to worry about Talladega, or at least give themselves as many points as possible towards the front?
I feel like you'll see a few of them do that. I expect some of the guys just to have one spot that have solid top 5, top 10 runs to gain some more points, so they can be 18, 20 points up going into Talladega, which in Talladega doesn't guarantee much, but it's better than not, of course.
Yeah.
I expect Matt Kenseth obviously to be fast. He's already towards the back of the chase right now, and then Dale Jr.'s out of it right now, but I expect Dale Jr. to have a really good run. I don't know if he'll be super aggressive to get the win because he's so good at Talladega that I think that's going to be his, place that he can really win the race and he can go to the next round.
And I know that I've seen rule changes posted earlier today for the Sprint Cup Series. Is there any kind of rule changes to be expected in the ARCA Series next year? Do they do big changes when it comes to the cars such as the Sprint Cup Series, or is it pretty cut and dry in the ARCA Series and not much of a change?
They have a little bit. This year it's a pretty big change. New no more 396 engine and the body package. It's a body that you're allowed to run a short track. So next year it'll be allowed to run intermediate. So a little bit of tweaks going in next season, but it's pretty cut and dry.
Gotcha. Well, I did that at the beginning, and I 99% of the time now, so I'd say always do, but now that you're the first one probably that I forgot. Well, I did forget, but we already got into the conversation, into the interview, so I didn't want to cut in the middle of it and then go back into the conversation. So I was supposed to do the very beginning at the end, I did leave some time for it. I want to give you an opportunity to plug social media, website, sponsors, any of the drivers, and, car sponsors for them as well. Anything you want to throw out there before we let you enjoy the rest of your evening and get ready for your next race.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at the Mason Racing, our team at MMM_race, Facebook page, Mason Motorsports, Instagram, Mason Motorsports, or at Mason Racing. And then obviously just this whole weekend would be possible with all the heat support from Carl Chevrolet for supporting 7018. These last two races they raced in Iowa and Kansas. And then obviously I am Technical Solutions, great sponsor of Austin itself, supporting the whole program, and he's actually coming on board with timely this weekend Kids, along with the great food. So I'm super ecstatic by all this going on here. Everybody's worked super hard shop, and we've gone out here to Kansas. We're going to have a great weekend and make it all happen and try to win that race.
Good luck coming up to Kansas. Hopefully we see one of the Triple M cars in victory lane. Also, would it be the ultimate dream to have a 1-2-3 finish?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd be ecstatic. I'd feel full of a Michael Waltrip and Dale Jr. July Daytona win celebration style.
You would definitely pitch yourself more than once on this one if that was to happen. But good luck for all three of your drivers this upcoming race. Good luck on the off-season. Hopefully everything gets accomplished that needs to be accomplished. You guys are ready for the 2016 season. Hopefully we'll be able to talk to you sometime in the off-season, and looking forward to keeping up with not only you and Austin, but the Triple M team itself as you guys move forward.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity to be on the show, and you guys have a good night.
You too.
That was Mason Mitchell, team owner and driver over at Mason Mitchell Motorsports. They ended up completing the trifecta, so we had him on the show. He wins the championship. We bring him back on the show. He wins Iowa. We bring him back a third time, and he turns around and wins Kansas all the following event. So it was a cool thing for 2015 for us to be part of that. We know we can't take no credit for that, but it's just really cool that it all worked out, that all three times that we had him come on the show, he followed that by winning or taking the championship and helped building that Triple M brand in the ARCA Series. The game on tonight, the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers, they're still at 17-10. San Diego is up. They're about 11 12 minutes left in the third, and they're still pretty early into the third quarter. But definitely a good football game for you guys to check out. Like I said, you guys can follow me at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also, you can check us out on Facebook, my fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, and the 110 Nation fan page at 110 Nation Sports. Well, we got one more best of the 2015, so you guys sit back, enjoy. We brought Josh Williams onto the show. He's an ARCA Series driver, and he's doing it a little bit harder than some of the other people, as he's doing it on his own with his own cars and everything else. So sit back, enjoy this, and I'll be back after this one.
Let's go ahead and get him on the show. Josh, how are you doing tonight?
I'm very good, buddy. Just enjoying a little bit of relaxation after that long weekend we had.
I can only imagine. I essentially between relationships, basically raised 4 kids. One is actually mine, and the 3 I've taken on is basically being mine. Have a full-time job, do this and do that, and I know what my hectic schedule, what I feel is a hectic schedule is like. I can only imagine what your schedule is like on a day-to-day, week-to-week, and even month-to-month basis. So I can only imagine that every opportunity you guys get be able to get off your feet and just kind of take a minute and relax and take a breath of fresh air. I don't imagine how valuable that is. Before we jump into this, I want to give you an opportunity, in case we don't get time at the end, to be able to plug any kind of social media so that listeners can follow you, keep up with you as you continue the season in your career. Any kind of website, team site, your site, sponsors, anything you want to throw out there real quick. That way we get that out of the way in case we don't get that at the end, so people get to know you just a little bit better.
Oh, yes, sir. I appreciate that. You know, everybody can follow us on our Twitter page, Josh6Williams, or check us out on our website at joshwmotorsports.com. You can check us out and follow us, see what the latest happenings are, keep up with our Muscleman's Up with Aptos Chevrolet, and keep up with our Team On Your KO campaign, and see how things are going with that as well.
It's always interesting to me to learn how this all comes about. And you know, we get a lot of great drivers on, and they as early as 4 or 5 years old in go-karts. And it's always entertaining to me because I have a 17-year-old daughter, straight A, honor student, AP classes, stuff, and if I was the book smart as you can get, I couldn't ground her because all she did was read. So taking a radio or TV away from her never did any good. But to get her to walk from one end of the house to the other without tripping over her own 2 feet is a task. I have a son, maybe he's not as book smart, but he's my son, and the same goes for him as well. And then, of course, the 4 and the 5-year-old live with me. They tripped and everything else. So they hear people talk as early as 4 or 5 years old in go-karts. 4 kids I had raised, I just couldn't imagine it ever. So I always enjoy hearing as I've had the opportunity to grow, and I've watched 4 kids grow. Not everybody gets this opportunity, and not everybody is as, gifted and be able to do these things. Where did it all begin, and what age did you get into racing?
You know, my dad, he raced, for a long time, even before I was born, and I grew up around it my whole life. I was, going to the racetrack 1, 2 years old, and they built me a custom go-kart when I was 2 and a half. I had a 5-horsepower braking motor on it, and Dad would ride on it with me, and he started teaching me when I was real young, and basically started competition racing when I was 4 and a half in go-karts, and moved to quarter midgets, Bandoleros, Legends, cars, pro trucks, late models, sportsmen, eventually now we're here in the ARCA Racing Series. So, we tried to follow the steps up through pretty much like everybody else does. And it's the only thing I've ever done. I did play normal sports, your regular baseball and basketball stuff, but racing was it. I couldn't do the normal sports. I had to stick with racing. It is just so much fun, and it's a huge adrenaline rush for me, and it's just a passion. I love it.
Starting at such a young age, growing up, it always seemed there wasn't enough hours in the day, and I tried to have somewhat good grades, so I did do some of my homework. I was an average student. I didn't try to overexert myself. I don't know why. I guess this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But, I also had a job, and I was an ROTC, and so we had drill team and all that other stuff. And I know how hectic it can be, even with I guess you could say, normal high school or normal school life. How was it like growing up and trying to maintain a productive and prosperous racing career on top of having school and trying to have a social life and everything else? How difficult was that?
It's definitely difficult. I remember middle school, things like that. They would pick me up on a Friday right after school was over. Mom and Dad picked me up in the trailer, and we'd go straight to the racetrack from there. And as I got older, I started, having to miss a lot of days of school and bring my work with me and get permission from teachers and things like that. And my last 2 years of high school, I was actually homeschooled. So we could travel more and things like that. And it's just, we had to do it. It come down to the point where we were racing so much during 1 year. I mean, we were running almost 60, 65 races a year. and you start missing a lot of school. So it was just easier for us to do the homeschool deal, and a lot of kids nowadays are doing that, even younger than when I started, just to stick with it. It's tough. I mean, it's just like anything else. If you want to be good at baseball, you got to stick with it. If you want to be good at basketball, you got to stick with it. And racing, you got to be in the seat. So that's what me and my family looked at, and that's what we stuck with. And it seemed to work out pretty good.
At what age did you realize that this just wasn't a sport or a hobby or maybe even something that you just enjoyed doing, but this was something that you knew that was going to be a career, that it's something that you knew that you could be successful at?
I would probably say, right before I turned 15. I come up here I actually moved to Lexington, North Carolina right as I turned 15. I was close to turning 15, and I started living with Barry Owen, great crew chief back in the day, won a lot of races. And, we started building a ARCA car, ARCA chassis from the ground up. And, at that point, I said, this is what I want to do forever. I want to try to make it a career. And I feel like when I was younger than that, you really don't understand the whole process of what goes into all this. But the older I got and the more experience I got, it's something I just wanted to stick with. I'm sticking with it to the end.
But Miss Lee threw in a comment talking about quite the commitment from your parents. I tell you what, a lot of when you talk about not your normal sports, and I think when it comes to parents, when it comes to race car drivers, you don't have the normal parents as well, because there's a lot more when it comes to racing. There's a lot more cost. There's a lot more time. There's a lot more danger. And I tell you what, parents of drivers, that's got to be a very tough role to kind of take on, not only being a parent, but the cost and the time consumption and the risk. I can only imagine being a parent and my kid being out there knowing that any race, there could be something that severely goes wrong. Has your parents been involved the whole time to including now, or as you got more further in your career, did they have an opportunity to kind of step back and kind of watch everything kind of grow as you moved on into bigger and better things?
We've always stuck together as a family, and even now, being in a higher level like the ARCA, we're still a family-owned team and a family-based team. My parents are usually there every weekend, and Dad, him being a racer, he still gets a little nervous. We start running up front and things like that, but my mom's watched me catch on fire, break my arm, all kinds of stuff, wreck pretty bad, and even though I'm 22, she still gets nervous staying on top of the pit box watching me race. But we've always been together through everything, and we stick together. And like you said, the dedication of parents. I mean, I think, seeing a lot of these parents nowadays, and I think my parents are more dedicated than most that I've seen in the sport in the past few years. They stick with me, they stick with my passion, and they help me out along the way, and whatever I put my mind to, they're always supporting me. So, family plays a big role in motorsports for sure.
Now, you talking about your father was a racer. Have you ever had an opportunity to be on the track at the same time, just you and him on some track time or any kind of special event? Have you ever had the opportunity to be on the track with him?
We haven't. I was running Legends cars in 2006, 2007, as he was running pro trucks his last year in 2007, and he won his last feature and handed me the steering wheel for the truck and said, all right, it's your turn, I'm done. And, he's played around a little bit since then, but I haven't had the opportunity to actually race with him, from green to checkered. We joke about it all the time, and he tells me that, I might be good, but never as good as him. So I think it'd be a blast. He taught me everything I know, and He's still teaching me to this day. I consider him, one of the best wheelmen I've ever watched.
Now, how difficult is it being a family-based team, right? I know the ARCA Series is not quite the same as the Nationwide Series and the Sprint Cup Series when you start talking about Hendricks and Penske's and all these highly funded teams. But yet, there's some teams out there in the ARCA Series that, they got their good funding, they got their sponsorships, and they tend to be able to afford to, try to be the best in that series. Being a family-based team, how difficult is that to be competitive out there week in and week out and compare, and compete with some of these, little bit better teams?
It's very difficult. I mean, you have to take into consideration these guys got, X amount of employees working, even when they're at the track. There's still somebody there working on their car. They've got access to pull down machines and as many tires as they want. Motor rebuilds and at-track engineers and tuners and, a lot of it, some of the guys, you got Gallagher Motorsports and Mason Mitchell Motorsports, the Venerinis, they spend a lot of money. And we look at it like, we're at a disadvantage, but we don't want to see it as that. We think we should be just as good as them, even though they have all those resources.
Now, I know previous years, the ARCA Series and the K&N Pro Series didn't necessarily get as much TV time as, thankfully, NBC taking over is been a lot more generous with the TV time, and that's why I've gotten to catch a lot more K&N Pro and ARCA Series races. Has that really been reflected? Have you guys, as drivers, noticed an increase in maybe viewership or popularity because such as, what NBC is doing and trying to help, I guess, grow awareness in these other series to help, kind of populate it as well?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's great. The fans want to watch, they want to follow a driver, up through the ranks. And I feel like more TV time for the ARCA Series and the K&N Pro Series is really good for us as drivers and for the sport in general. Just to get more fans out there. And a lot of the younger kids watch the races and they go, hey, that kid's not that much older than me, or hey, I'm the same age as him. And it gets them interested in the sport, and it just creates more fans. And that's what we need. Is this sports revolve around fans. It's the way the drivers make money, the teams make money, the tracks make money, and it's the way the circle revolves. If there's no fans in the seats, there's no cars on the track.
How in your opinion, how competitive is this the most competitive sport? And what I mean is, when you start off 3, 4, 5, 2.5, however you want to start off, yes, it's not that expensive. Well, I'm not going to say that expensive, but not as expensive to be out there in the go-kart. So you've got a lot of young children. And then as you get older, it gets a little bit more expensive. And so the numbers kind of start trickling down, and then you start getting into the K&N Pro Series, and then the ARCA Series is even less, and the Truck Series. I mean, you ultimately think how many thousands and probably hundreds of thousands of kids are out there every Friday and Saturday night, and young adults ultimately competing for 43 spots. It's not like the NFL where you got 32 teams with 53 players on the roster. You have 43 spots, and that's it in the Sprint Cup Series. And you ultimately either got to beat out the back half of the Sprint Cup Series, or ultimately have to wait until your Gordons retire, your Stewarts retire, for a spot to open up. So you're looking at something that is probably one of the most competitive sports. How competitive is it really? And you consider this probably the most competitive sport in the world?
I agree with you 100%. It is competitive, and a lot of people don't look at it, like you just explained, but it's the truth. There's kids from 4 years old to adults at 60 that I still see out there driving and trying to make it every day, and it is difficult. It's very difficult this way, day and age. Like you said, the funding and sponsorship, things like that. It's very difficult and really competitive, and every driver's goal is to, take the green at Daytona in the 43-car field, for a Sprint Cup Series. It's a tough battle, but it is very competitive.
I could imagine, like I say, you sit there and think about other sports. I think the only other one that might be somewhat close is the NBA, because you only really got 5 spots that, I mean, you know you got to run a 10-man roster. You're still down to 3,300, but that's still nowhere close to ultimately 43 drivers. Is basically 43 spots what you're looking at. And I would say a good 20 of them, unless they retire, they're not going anywhere. Your Gordons, your Earnhardts, your Patricks, your Stewarts, your Boyers, we can name 20 drivers, and until they retire, they're not leaving that sport. And so ultimately, there's not a lot of room to. You really got to be on your P's and Q's. You're talking about having the opportunity to kind of relax a little bit. What's your kind of schedule like? I mean, I know you got testing, you got qualifying, you got racing, you got your sponsorship commitments, and you know your all that kind of stuff. What is the normal week like for you? How much time do you actually get to yourself, and even more on a kind of more of a personal level? What do you do to kind of clear your mind? You go fishing, you go hunting. What do you do to kind of just take a moment? This is my moment. I want to take a deep breath, clear my mind, kind of rejuvenate myself, and get ready for the next day or the next race or whatever the occasion might be.
We usually don't get a lot of off time, especially with my guys. There's only 3 guys full time in the shop, and I make the 4th one. And every morning we start work at 7 o'clock, and we might stop at 4, or we might stop at 7 o'clock at night, or we might go till 1 in the morning. It just depends, being down on guys, and the schedule gets a little tough, mid-season, and right there at the end, you're just trying to be prepared for anything, especially if you're in the points battle like ourselves. And when we do get some off time, actually hunting season's come up here in about 5 or 6 days, and I enjoy that a lot. And we got 13 acres up here in Concord, so we're outside of city limits, so we get to shoot some guns and things like that, and just have some good fun in the backyard. So that's our way to relax.
I bet it is. It sounds something I was supposed to do last weekend, as a matter of fact. Plans got canceled, but definitely relaxing, definitely an opportunity. Second in points behind Grant and Banger. A nice close point race for finished 4th last, or yesterday, as a matter of fact. What are your, so far in your career? What is the biggest highlight? What's the biggest thing that you've accomplished that you're most proud of, that you felt that you put the most in, and you got what you felt you should have got out of it, or rewarded out of it? Some things come easy and some things come accidental, but there's always that one thing that you put everything into that makes you feel most proud of what you accomplished.
I feel like our effort this season. I feel like our effort this season, running second in points right here with 3 races to go, that's the greatest accomplishment I think that I've ever been a part of in my entire racing career. To run against these guys, like you said, with a lot of funding and things like that, and to have our family-based team is phenomenal. I think it's just it's mind-blowing, actually, to look at the points and be like, wow, we've actually got a shot at this thing. It is a close points battle, and anything can happen, on my end and on Grant's end as well. You just got to be there to capitalize.
On the next 3 races coming up, which one do you feel most confident that if you're going to win a race, or actually when you're going to win a race this year, which track do you feel most confidently will be that track?
I feel like the next race we're coming to, Salem, Indiana. I like the track a lot. We've always had good success there. We're bringing a car this year that we've had very good success with at the beginning of the season. Ran up front, just come up a little shy on late race cautions and things like that. But I feel like we're really going to put a good piece together and try to win Salem.
Growing up, what driver did you idolize? It don't necessarily have to be a NASCAR driver. You have a lot of drivers come on that might be a Formula 1, Indy driver, a Bog, or whatever. everybody grows up, especially in the racing world, just, idolizing or watching every type of racing. What driver did you grow up idolizing, and who's your current driver?
As a kid, I always loved to watch Dale Earnhardt drive.
He was an answer.
He's just, in the day, he was a real racer, and nowadays you really don't see people like that anymore. The guy that would do anything it took to win the race, even though he didn't have the best car. He wouldn't complain over the radio about his AC not working, or things like that. And it's just, I look at him as an icon in the sport as everyone else does, and I would like to be, like him one day. I want everybody to know who I am and talk about me even when I'm gone.
With you moving up, I just told him, I remember now. With the big picture of being in the Sprint Cup Series one day, obviously any changes in any different packages, obviously is going to affect you at one point or another. So my next two questions are kind of geared towards the future, but it has to do with the present time. One, the safety of NASCAR, and they're constantly trying to stay up on top of the safety. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't realize there's a safety issue until something happens, such as Kyle Busch early this year. Didn't really think, maybe we need to start paving more of the infield so, you're not sliding through the grass and hitting the wall faster or harder than you should. Different things. Obviously, Dale Sr. and what happened, it was one of those things that, okay, this happened. Now we realize we should have done this. But NASCAR ultimately tries to stay on top of that. So one, how safe do you feel in these cars? Do you feel that you're basically wrapped in bubble wrap? I think everybody we've talked to so far feels pretty safe and confident what NASCAR is doing. But also, too, what NASCAR is doing now, way they're changing the rule packages, way they kind of tweak the chase and everything to kind of bring excitement to this to the sport and draw attention. So one, how comfortable do you feel in these cars? And two, do you like what NASCAR is doing as you're trying to advance to keep this sport being competitively interesting, but at the same time draw, the eyes, the viewers, the attendance back?
Yes, sir. I feel like the safety is always progressing. The seats, the Hans device, seat belts. Everything down to roll bar padding. They do a fantastic job. And as you've seen at Daytona this year, was at Austin Dillon's wreck. That was something that you never see, and he walked right out of it and just had a couple bruises. These cars are very safe, and they're only getting better, and they don't stop. They don't stop trying to make these things safer for us as a driver. It's an ongoing thing, and it's good for the whole sport, because if NASCAR does something, it's like a ladder. It goes from the top all the way down to the bottom to your local short track stuff, your go-karts and things like that. So they help the whole racing community in general.
I remember, I don't think I've asked any of these drivers we've had on this. I might have asked one, I can't remember. But when you see a wreck like Austin Dillon, what goes through your mind as another driver, and knowing that you're going to get back on this track and knowing what just happened, what goes through your mind when you see something like that?
When I seen the wreck, I know, I've wrecked pretty hard before, and I know what's going to hurt the next day. And I told the guys, I think we were watching all day, I said, man, that hurt my chest, just trying to watch it, and it's just crazy. The feeling you get when you see it from outside, as a fan, is so different. If you're in the car itself, you don't really realize how bad it is until you get out and you watch it yourself, and to see it even as a driver from the outside, you're like, man, that hurt. It hurts, but they're safe as well. Like we talked about earlier, all the safety equipment you have today.
we're almost done with the 2015 season. Have you guys laid out any plans for the 2016 season yet, or you guys kind of waiting for this season to finish out and play out how it's going to play before you guys look forward to the next season?
Yeah, we're, you always have to plan ahead, and that's what we're doing right now. Basically, this sport revolves around sponsorship and funding, and that's what we're working on for 2016 to hopefully move up in the ladder a little bit or possibly stay in the ARCA Series for another year, and if we don't pull off the championship this year, try to win it next year, as well as run a few K&N races, things like that, and possibly if funding is available, run some Xfinity stuff or some Tampa World truck races. But we definitely always try to plan for the next year. You never know what's going to happen, so you definitely got to plan ahead. Somebody could call you tomorrow and say, hey, let's go racing, and you got to be prepared.
Is there a big difference between the ARCA Series, driving an ARCA Series car and a K&N Pro car? And if so, how difficult is it to run one series one day and then a day or two later running the other?
I haven't myself had the opportunity to run the K&N car. Their weight's a little different, their power's a little different. I think with the Ilmore motor we have in the ARCA Series now, we're mid-sevens on the horsepower. We still weigh 3,400 pounds. I think K&N car's 3,100 and some change. I think they're right at 700, maybe a little less. It is different. Every car is different. Trucks, Xfinity, Cup, ARCA, K&N, everything drives a little bit different. Being able to adapt helps out a bunch, just being able to jump in something, feel it, know what you got. So I feel like they are different to drive for sure. It's just how fast you can adapt from one to the other.
Josh, I don't want to tie you up any longer. I want you to be able to relax and get yourself prepared for next week, because sounds like you are pretty confident in how your performance is going to go next week. Definitely want to wish you good luck on your final three races. So hopefully we'll see you in victory lane. Hopefully you continue having a nice points battle for the league. Like I said, definitely want to wish you luck for the rest of the season and the 2016 season. Looking forward to be able to see the race. Hopefully NBC Sports will be doing it live. If not, I definitely will catch it whenever they play it. Some of them they see you guys live. Sometimes they post time or delay it or whatever. But definitely looking forward to either way, be able to catch it 2 weeks. My bad, not next week. So definitely going to be looking out for that. Looking forward to having you back, hopefully sometime soon. Love to, especially if you win the point series, love to know what it's like to be an ARCA Series champion, and what definitely everything falls into place at that point. So the door is definitely open, and looking forward to hopefully having you back. But like I said, good luck on the rest of the season, and I hope you enjoy relaxing the rest of the evening.
That was Josh Williams of the ARCA Series. Was glad to have him step into the studio as well. And it was great to be able to kind of look at the racing world through his eyes and come on the show. So those were the three that I decided tonight would be my best of 2015. Just remember, have an opportunity to step back and have a Noah on the show with Mason and, of course, Josh. And just having the opportunity to sit in the studio and kind of relive those interviews, it's just really cool. I can't even express how cool it is to have that chance to do that and just remember some of the conversations that I've gotten to have. San Diego and Oakland still going at it. Here we're almost out of the third. San Diego is still up. They're up 17-10. And a really good game here at Oakland. Got to a point, it looks like both offenses have and Oakland just safety San Diego. So now it's going to be 17-12, and Oakland is going to get the ball back. The city goes crazy, but definitely a good game to watch here on Christmas Eve. If you guys are not watching it, make sure you guys tune into that game. Really cool game. A really good game to watch. Game back and forth, and that's. You couldn't ask for a better game than what's scheduled for Christmas Eve. A game that kind of gets you motivated and get you hyped up and finish what you got to finish. A matchup that's actually competitively close. I'm sure not like the bowl game. San Diego State up 35-0 on Cincinnati. Like I said, we talked about earlier, Western Michigan winning 45-31 over Middle Tennessee. So definitely a good thing to see, and it's just definitely a great opportunity to watch some NFL prime time. And like I said, San Diego up 17-12. Oakland's going to get the ball back. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter. You can check out my Twitter handle at CJSports1. You can check out the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Also, check out my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports. You can check out the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Also, check out our website, www.the110nation.com, or you can check out the blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. Don't forget, the 110 Nation Sports Show, Monday through Friday, kicks off at 9 o'clock. We got Racing with Big Sweat Thursday night at 9 p.m. as well. Also, we got the 110 Nation Morning Show. We'll be making its return to the network Monday morning, January 4th at 9 a.m. at new time. And then also, don't forget, Sunday, we got the debut of the Midwest Horsepower Hour show. Looking forward to it. Brought to us by YellowCautionFlag.com, powered by the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network. So looking forward to that, as he has got a star-studded show. As a matter of fact, he's got a few star-studded shows right out the gate planned for you guys. So very excited about having him on the network, and very excited about having an opportunity to sit in and listen to that. I think we're going to call it a night. I got to get to bed. I got to get showered and get ready to go to bed. I got to be up at 4:30 in the morning. And unfortunately, it's not to watch kids open presents. It's to head off to work. I've got to put a nice 8-hour shift in on Christmas morning, and then I get to enjoy the rest of the day. Not too much of a night because I got to go in at 5 a.m. all the next 3 days, so there's not going to be too many late nights. But definitely going to enjoy myself tomorrow. Don't forget to be back on 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Looking forward to being here to do another Best of edition. You guys enjoy your guys' Christmas, and make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night.
Thanks for listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show with Mr. CJ Sports. You are a part of the 110 Nation, so be sure to visit the110nation.com for everything related to the show. You can follow CJ on Twitter at 110 Nation and on Facebook at 110 Nation Sports. Until next time.